maybe before we do those debriefs, we stop and we look at the humans involved and we ask ourselves, what can we do to support our humans? We've all had projects go off the rails. We've all had things happen where we wish it was different. And as leaders, it's really challenging when that happens. We had something that needed to be delivered, and maybe it was delivered, but the process was really bumpy. And suddenly everybody's pointing fingers at everybody else. It's easy to fall into the trap of deconstructing and saying, yes, it was so-and-so who didn't deliver that thing that was the domino effect that affected us all. But if we take a different view of it and we say, okay, rather than deconstructing what happened in the process, perhaps we look at it through the lens of the humans, the humanity that lived that process and what was really happening. And we can all agree and we can see that the process was bumpy, but rather than trying to figure out how to make it smoother the next time, because that's what we all want. We want a smooth process. But in reality, I don't know that I've ever worked on a project where the process has been smooth. I don't know that that actually exists. Why? Because we're all humans. Our kids get sick, and we have family members pass away, and we have, planes that are late, and we have shipments that don't actually make it to the places that they're supposed to make it. These are not people's faults. These are just things that happen along the way, but they have implications. And we have this false belief that we can manage for all of the eventualities, that we can make sure that we've got the backup in case the plane is late or the shipment doesn't arrive, and that we should have all of these done. And we can try, but there's always something that happens that wasn't expected. It's just a reality. So rather than trying to do these debriefs that kind of go, well, how can we make it smoother the next time? Maybe what it is a debrief where we say, what is it that happened? And how do we need to support our team so they feel good about themselves, so they can show up equally as good, if not better, next time? Because the project got done. The thing happened. The people were served, whatever it was. And yet you have a team who might be a little bit demoralized. Maybe you've got somebody who's angry at somebody because they didn't deliver their thing on time, which made a domino effect down the line. Well, you've got two people probably you've got to deal with there. The one person who didn't deliver on time. What was happening in that person's life? Were they creative? Were they, working really hard and we expected them to be able to create on demand? Or did they have something human happen, something in their family or on the ground? Or were they just maybe exhausted and burned out? What is it that was going on with that person? Then we've got the person that was interdependent to that delivery, and then they had to do a bunch of things. That person maybe was the hero of that particular success that pulled the rabbit out of the hat, was able to deliver the thing on time, and now they're burned out. What are we doing for them? How are we supporting them? They want the person who didn't deliver to be made accountable, that actually what they really want and what they really need is to be seen for the work that they did and for how they delivered, and to be given the space and the time to recover from what has just happened. Are we saying to that person, great, I'm going to promote you, and now you're going to have 6 more of those same types of roles to take on, and you're going to have to do more? And that person may even want that. They may think they want that, but in reality, they're just going to burn out and we're going to lose them. So maybe before we do those debriefs, we stop and we look at the humans involved and we ask ourselves, what can we do to support our humans? How can we make sure that they see that what they did deliver was good? And let's find a way to support them from a communication standpoint so that they understand we're not angry with them. It's not about anger. It's about really understanding where they are and supporting them in their process. And for the person who became the hero, It's about giving them that acknowledgement, thanking them for the work they've done, but also recognizing the toll it took on them, whether they want to admit that or not. It's our job as leaders to do that. And so as you think about the process and the projects and all the things that you've got on the go right now, I really encourage you, spend some time to look at the people who are delivering. And don't assume that it's like a linear process that's just going to get done. What is it that you can do to help that person in their process so that they continue to be able to deliver what you need them to deliver, and they can protect themselves and not burn out and not go into that place of self-criticism that often happens when maybe things don't go quite as on plan. And that's huge, because when we are in the middle of these processes and maybe something didn't go well, if that person feels as if they let the team down, they often are going to go into a very deep self-critical place. And we can't afford that as leaders. We need them to know that they're important in the team, that they are a critical part of the team. And because of that, we recognize that one small hiccup does not an entire person make. And so giving them that, letting them know that you see them for the valuable individual that they are, and that any small mistake is just part of the process that we all live through. Because they will show up with an end result that is so much better than you ever expected it to be. And they'll do it in such a way where they're doing it because you trusted them, because you saw in them what maybe they didn't even see in themselves. And because of that, your project, your outcome, can't help but succeed. And so managing creative people, yeah, it's a challenge. Of course it is. It should be. But the thing is, the question isn't managing them. It's managing yourself that's really important, because it's not about them. It's about you and what your expectations are and what your beliefs are. And are you giving your teams the respect they deserve to be able to show up in the way that you need them to? It's likely going to be bumpy. And in those bumps, we get to be our human selves and we get to support other humans. And that's the most important thing, because when we come out of a project fully intact, we're able to do more. But when we come out of a project where everybody is wounded and weary, that's where everything starts to fall apart, especially when the expectation is that battle-hardened person is now going to have to be asked to go into another project. And guess what they're bringing? They're bringing their scars and they're bringing their wounds, and that's probably not going to show up so well. So I hope this has been helpful. I hope you are able to see your teams, the people who work with and for you, the work you're doing in a new way, and to think about how we can best support the project, but equally as important, the humans within it. If you found this valuable and maybe you've got yourself thinking like, gosh, I wish I knew a little more about how to actually implement some of this, well, I've got great news for you. We got a part 2 to this. So make sure that you check out the part 2 right here.